Hello students, welcome to the first lecture of Mathematics 1. The code is UMA 010. So before starting the first lecture, let me give you a quick review on the syllabus and the books to be followed for Mathematics 1 in this semester. So we have a website for this. Like if you go to this website from type UMA 010 in Google, you will find out this site, and in this site you will see that you will get the course handout, study material, previous year question papers, and the recent announcement also you can get in this website. So I recommend you to visit this site regularly so that you can get all the updates about the course and all the news. So let me give you a quick review on the syllabus. So this is our syllabus which you can see also in the website. So this is the syllabus. Firstly, we will not go in the order in which it is shown. We will firstly study this chapter, the sequence and series, and then the series expansion. We will go to partial differentiation, and then we will study multiple integrals, and lastly we will study the complex analysis. And the books you need to follow for this course is Thomas and Finney for all the topics leaving this complex analysis. So leaving this complex analysis, in the other topics you need to follow this Thomas and Finney, calculus and analytic geometry. You can also follow James, essential calculus, but the main book you will follow is this Thomas and Finney, the 9th editions or higher than the 9th edition. And for the complex analysis, you will follow Kasana, complex variables, theory and application. And in this course handout, which you will again find in the website, this is the information about which section you need to follow for which topic. So for the sequence and series, as I told you that we will start with the sequence and series, so you will follow Thomas and Finney, and these are the sections which is written for your perusal. So I hope this is clear about the course structure and the syllabus. So let's start with the first topic, that is on sequence. So this is the topic which we will do first, that is sequence. So you know already that in general mathematics deals with patterns, whether they are visual patterns or numerical patterns. The term sequence is also related to patterns. So if I ask you that 1, 4, 7, 10, now if I ask you, looking at the pattern, tell me the next term after 10. You can clearly tell that it will come 13, then 16, then 19 and so on. So basically a sequence is an ordered list of numbers following some patterns. You already know what does this mean. Now for example, another example, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can see the pattern so this is basically the layman definition of sequence. Now sequence are generally denoted as follows. Like if I write A1, this will denote the first term, A2 second term, and then AN is the nth term, and so on. I can write this, denote this as A1, this second term as A2, this third term as A3, A4, and if I have a nth term I can write AN and so on. So this is how you can represent a sequence. Now let us write a bit more mathematical definition of sequence. An infinite sequence of numbers is a function whose domain is a set of positive integers greater than or equal to some integer n naught. Now let us make this definition more clear with the help of one example. So suppose that you considered a sequence 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and so on. Now clearly you can see the behavior of this sequence can be described by this formula. For n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. I already told you that A1 is the first term, A2 is the second term, A3 is the third term and so on. So we can describe this sequence with the formula this. Now for this sequence I have my domain, so I can write the domain as 1 and the range as 2, 4, 6, 8, 2n, this is for n and so on. So this is the sequence itself, and the range, that is, it depends upon the formula. Like you have written an is 2n. So if you start with 1 you will get 2. If you put n is equal to 2 you will get 4. If you put n is equal to 3 you will get 6. If you put n is equal to 4 you will get 8 and so on. So now you can see that this domain can start from any number depending upon the formula. Like suppose if you write this an as 2n minus 2. So to get the same sequence, that is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and so on, you will start your n from 2. So in this case your domain will start from 2, then 3, 4, 5 and so on, and the range you will get the same thing, that is the sequence. So there is no reason to believe that the domain will always start from 1, but generally we write it from 1 only, but it basically depends upon the formula, which is clear now. Like if you write an 2n, you are starting from n is equal to 1, and if you write a formula for an as 2n minus 2, you are starting from n is equal to 2 to get the same sequence. Okay, so now there is a shorthand notation for the sequence. Like you already know that I can write it as a1, a2 till an, and if I write the formula, I can know the sequence. But there are other notations, or you can say other shorthand notation for denoting sequence are an, or you can write it as this, or this you already know, till infinite, and this. So this all representation means the same. That is, you are describing a sequence. I take it as from n is equal to 1. but you have already seen it. It depends upon the formula which you write. So now, for example, if I have the sequence, or if it is written like this, it means that it is saying that we have a sequence like this. Or something is written like this, this also means the same. That is, we have a sequence which is like this. And if somewhere it is written like this, this again means the same, that you have a sequence which is like this. So now, to have more clear picture, let us graph a sequence. I hope this much is clear. So let us graph a sequence. So suppose that I have a sequence. I will take a very easy sequence. Suppose that you have a sequence this, and you want to graph it. So this is my 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So if you can see, if I write the few coordinates for this, for 1 I will get 1, for 2 I will get 1 by 2, for 3 I will get 1 by 3, for 4 I will get 1 by 4 and so on. So if I graph for 1, I am getting 1, for 2 half, for 3 1 by 3, 4. Now from this, what can we observe? That as n increases, an is getting closer towards 0. So this gives us an important concept about limit. So you can clearly observe from the graph only that, oh sorry, this will be 2, this is 3, this is 4, 1 is to 4 and so on. You can easily see that as n goes towards, like n goes towards infinity, your an's are tending towards 0. So this gives us an important concept of limits. So I can write that limit n tending to infinity an is equal to limit n tending to infinity 1 by n is 0. You can easily see graphically. Now let us, from this we can describe an important feature, that is convergence. So let us see what does this convergence or divergence of the sequence mean. It is an important topic, convergence or divergence of the sequence. So I'll first write that if this is sequence, if there is a sequence, that is nth formula is anth, like this is nth term. So if this converges to some finite value L, you have like given a name, then we write so this is important, that if an converges, that is sequence an converges to some finite value L, then we write that limit n tending to infinity an is equal to that value. In other words, I'll write, in other words, the value of AN's approaches L as n approaches infinity. So there are few important things to know about the limit of a sequence. Firstly, this L is called as limit. This L is called limit of the given sequence. Secondly, if no such L exists, that is, you cannot find any L for which all the ANs is approaching, like you cannot find this L towards which all the ANs approaches, then we say that the sequence is divergent. If no such L exists, then limit of sequence AN does not exist, and hence we say sequence diverges. And thirdly is that if the limit of the sequence exists, then it will be unique. That if limit of a sequence exists, that is, if it is convergent, you can write it as a convergent sequence. Like whenever the limit exists, you say the sequence is convergent, then it will be unique. So these are the few things you need to remember about the limit of the sequence. Now there is one another like precise definition of limit which you won't be using much, but still I'll describe the definition so that you have a clear picture about the limit. So write down precise we say that limit n tending to infinity AN is equal to L if for every number epsilon that is greater than 0 there is an integer n such that whenever n is greater than this capital N. So this describes the distance between AN and L is less than epsilon whenever n is greater than capital N. So let us see this by graphical representation to make this statement more clear. So suppose that you have a graph of AN which goes like this. Now you can find that there is some value, I can write that it is going towards this value L. So this definition says that this sequence converges or goes to value L as n tending to infinity if for every epsilon, that is, I can find like if you give me any epsilon, I can find this positive integer n such that this condition holds. Like for example, I chose epsilon over here, I chose it very small. So now I have my L plus epsilon here, and this is my L minus epsilon. Now you can easily see that if I draw a line over here, and if I draw a line over here, this should be a straight line. So after this, you can easily see that this is my capital N. For any epsilon that is greater than 0, I have found this N for which all the ANs after this N. This means that all the ANs after this N will lie in this band. That is, you can easily see from this definition also that this implies that AN is less than for when N is greater than N, means capital N. That means that for in this case you have found this N will be this for which all the other ANs, these are your ANs, that is after this value N. So this is lying inside this band. So if you can do it always like any epsilon, let's think it of like an epsilon n game, that you give me any epsilon, I can give you the value of this capital N, and if you can do it for every epsilon, you will say that the sequence is converging towards that value L. So I hope this is clear. So you will be not using this definition often, but still for a clear picturization I discussed. Now next we will do some questions on the convergence and divergence of the sequence. Now it is already clear that if the limit exists and it is unique, you will say that the sequence is convergent, and if it is infinity or it is not unique, you will say that the sequence is divergent. So write down the question that check the and divergence of the sequence. So the first one is, this is your sequence and you want to check the convergence or divergence. Clearly if you find the limit, you will get 0, which is finite, and therefore the sequence AN converges. Now the second example, if I ask you, this is my Bn, this is my n square, this is equal to, now since if I find the limit of this, you are getting infinite. So this is not finite, and therefore the sequence n square diverges. So in the case of sequence, it is very easy that if you find out the limit of An as n tends to infinity, if it is finite and unique, you will say that the sequence is converging, and if it comes out to be infinite or not unique, then you will say the sequence is divergent. Let us do a last example, that for not unique, that if you have a sequence Cn which is equal to this, so again if you find out the limit, so this will be Cn. So if you find out the limit of this, you will get -1 and +1 when n is odd, and here when n is even. So the limit will be not unique, and hence since the limit is not unique, hence the sequence Cn is not convergent, or you can write it is divergent. So I hope this is clear that how you can write the sequences converging or diverging. Now let us see the recursive definition. So a recursive definition of sequence. Now till now we have calculated an directly from the value of n. Like till now what you have done? Like you have written an like this, and if I give the value of n as 1, 2, 3, I can write the sequence. Or you can see that if you have a sequence like this, if you give n 1, 2, 3 and so on, you will get a sequence. But there are other way of representing a sequence as well, that is using a recursive formula. So I write down the sequences. Sequences can be often defined recursively by giving, first condition is the values of the initial term. The values of the initial terms, and second, a rule called recursion formula. For calculating any latter terms from terms that precede it. Now what does this mean? This means that you can describe a sequence with the help of this recursion formula also. Recursion formula is that you can use the terms that are the preceding terms to write the term, any latter terms. So like for example, if I write a Fibonacci number, for example, if I write a you already know what is this. This is 1, 1, 2, 3, 5 and so on. So it is very difficult to write in the terms completely in the terms of n like we did earlier. So now you can also describe this sequence by writing a1, that is the first term of the sequence is 1 and the second term of the sequence is also 1, and I'll write other latter terms with the help of the sum of the preceding terms. So now you can see that if you use this recursion formula, you will get the sequence. Another example, like you have 1, 2, 6, 24 and so on. So now I can write this as a1 is equal to 1 and an as n into an minus 1. You can easily see that when you want for like if you put n, you want a2, this term. If you put n2, you are getting 2 into 1, that is 2 for n is equal to 2. Now for n is equal to 3, if you put 3, you will get 3 into a2, that is 2. You are getting 6. So you are getting the same sequence by using this recursion formula. So alternative, you can also write this as with the help of n, and alternatively you can use either recursion formula or this. So I hope this recursion formula is clear. Now we will see the next topic, that is subsequence. Now from the name, I think that it is giving you some idea about what is subsequence. Okay. So I'll first write the definition and then I'll make you clear that what the subsequence means. If the terms of sequence appear in another sequence in their given order, we call first sequence a subsequence of the second. Okay, so make this more clear, let us take one example. Now consider a sequence which is equal to this. Now clearly if I write in terms of number, it will be the simplest sequence. Now consider another sequence, that is 2n, which is equal to 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on, and also 2n minus 1, which is equal to 1, 3, 5 and so on. Now you can see that this both sequence appear, the terms of this both sequence appear in this sequence in their given order. So this both sequences are called as subsequence of this. Now I hope the definition of subsequence is clear. Like this, both subsequence, the terms in these both subsequences appear in this subsequence in their given order. So we call these two sequences as a subsequence for this. Now let us see some properties of subsequence. So the first property is, if sequence an converges to limit L, then all of its subsequence also converges to value L. That if the main sequence converges, then all the subsequence will also converge to the value L. This is the first property. Now the second property is, if any subsequence of a sequence diverges, or any two subsequences of a sequence converges to two different limits, to two different limits. This is important. Then the sequence, that is the main sequence, is also divergent. So if you can see that if the subsequence diverges, then the main sequence is divergent, or if we have two subsequences that converges to two different values, that is two different limits, that one subsequence is converging towards one limit. Suppose A1 is a subsequence, it is converging towards L1, and Bn is another subsequence of any sequence Cn, it is converging towards L2. So you can say that Cn is divergent. So now let us use this second property to prove a divergence of a sequence. So consider you have a sequence this, and then you want to check the convergence and divergence by the concept of the subsequences. So check it by concept of subsequence. So you have this An. Now if I write this, I'll get 1 plus 1. This is n. This one will be minus 1, plus 1, minus 1, and so on. Clearly we have two subsequences. We can have two subsequences. I'll write it as Bn, which is 1, 1, 1, and Cn, this minus 1, and so on. Now you can see that this Bn is going towards 1 and Cn is converging towards minus 1. Now since both subsequence converges to different values, we say the sequence An diverges. Like you can see that we have two subsequences Bn and Cn which is converging to different values. These are the subsequence of a sequence An. So if we get the subsequences which are converging to a different value, then our main sequence diverges. So I hope this is clear. Now I want you all to go to the book Thomas and Finney and practice exercise 8.1 for the topics which have been covered till today. So we will meet on the next lecture. Thank you.